Hello everyone, this is part 4 of What If Naruto Was Like Gaara, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist. To see more, comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Last time, Naruto left out a cry that would bring a fly to his knees. What is it? Asked Tsunami running up the stairs. I'm in unimaginable pain, that's what you, dolt, said Naruto as he felt pain thrust through his chest. Suddenly he fell lip, his eyes glazed over, staring unseeing at the ceiling. He no longer felt any pain, everything was nothing but a memory now. Kakashi had led his team deep into the forest that was close to the village that they had left. He then turned to the two genin. Well, even if Naruto isn't here, you two can still do this exercise. You'll be walking up a tree without using your hands, said Kakashi. But sensei, that's impossible, said Kiba. Akamaru barked from atop his head in agreement. Oh really, said Kakashi, turning to the closest tree beside him. He then walked calmly towards it, then after applying chakra to his feet up it, he came to a halt at an outstretched branch. The idea of this exercise is chakra control. If you master this training, you'll be able to do any jutsu without fail theoretically, said Kakashi. Hinata and Kiba stared at their sensei in amazement. He then threw two kunai at them, each landing at their feet. Use these to mark how high you get up the tree before you fall, said Kakashi. They both nodded in agreement, then began to apply chakra to their feet, each taking a running start up the tree. Neither one stopped until they reached the top. Incredible, they both have superb chakra control at such a young age. I wonder how Naruto would do, he thought as he stared at the two genin with pride. Great job you two, now I want you to do that a couple more times, then try walking up the tree, said Kakashi. They looked down to him and nodded, then each using their chakra ran down their trees. When they hit bottom, Kakashi had vanished. I wonder how Naruto's doing, said Hinata with a worried tone in her voice. He'll be fine, ain't no spider gonna stop him, especially if a S-class Junin level Rouge Ninja couldn't do it, said Kiba. Hinata nodded, though she didn't feel too reassured by this. Something was wrong with Naruto, she could feel it. Kakashi was on his way to the house when he heard an ear-splitting cry coming from the house that he'd left Naruto. He raced to the house using his chakra to give him an added boost. When he got in the house, he ran up the stairs to find Tsunami placing a cover over Naruto's face. Kakashi fell to his knees at the sight that lay before him. A single tear rolled down from his one visible eye into his mask. Tsunami turned to see Kakashi kneeling onto the floor. She placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. I'm sorry, she said in a whisper-like tone, then walked down the stairs, leaving Kakashi to stare at the S-boy. Hinata and Kiba walked through the door of the house completely exhausted around lunchtime, although the scene they came upon wasn't what they were expecting. They saw Kakashi, Tazuna, Tsunami, and Inari looked solemnly at one another. Hey, why does everyone look like someone SD? Asked Kiba jokingly. Because someone did said Inari in a monotone voice. Who? Asked Hinata, although she was sure she knew who he was going to say. She just prayed she was wrong. It was, Kakashi couldn't bring himself to say the boy's name. Naruto, Tazuna finished. Kiba and Hinata stared in disbelief. The boy that had single-handedly beat not only Zabuza but Kakashi-sensei as well had succeeded to poisoning by spider venom. Hinata fell to her knees, tears streamed from her eyes as she cried like she hadn't cried in years, not since her mother passed anyway. No, it can't be true, she shouted. For what it's worth, I'm sorry, said Tazuna. Kiba knelt down beside Hinata and braced her in a hug, allowing her to cry into his shoulder while a small stream of tears flowed down his own cheeks. If you want to see him and say your goodbyes, you can. I've placed an ice jutsu on the room to help preserve his body, said Kakashi in a monotone voice. They both nodded and walked up the stairs to the room where they had left Naruto. Suddenly a cold shiver ran down their spines that had nothing to do with the jutsu. This was the last time they would see Naruto. They opened the door to see his body with the cover DRD over it. The room felt like they had walked into a freezer. Kiba walked over to Naruto's bedside to see the covers had a thick frost glazed over them. He pulled the stiff material back, it crunched slightly as he did, then he saw the chalk white face of what appeared to be a sleeping Naruto. Well, goodbye Naruto, said Kiba. He then walked away, leaving Hinata alone. She stood at the doorway staring at the corpse that she had a crush on. Tears ran hot down her face, threatened to freeze on her cheeks. Naruto, I'm sorry I never got the chance to tell you, she said as she repositioned his cover, then walked out the door, closing it. Hinata came downstairs to find Kakashi awaiting her. You wanna go for a walk? He asked her. She nodded. As she left, she noticed that Kiba had already gone somewhere to be alone. She and Kakashi walked out the door and headed to the coast. Why Kakashi-sensei, why did he have to asked Hinata after several minutes of silence. I'm sorry Hinata, I don't have the answer to that question, said Kakashi. You're a Junin, couldn't you've done some healing jutsu or something to help him or to remove the poison, shouted Hinata. She then had a stunned look on her face. Where did that come from? She thought. I wish I could have done something to help him, Hinata, but I'm not a medical ninja nor do I know anything above basic first aid, said Kakashi. So what will we do now that he's gone? Asked Hinata. We move on, we still have a mission and Naruto would have killed us for not completing it, said Kakashi. Yeah, he'd kill us for a lot of things, came Kiba's voice ahead of them. They both looked up to see him sitting in the sand, Akamaru laying beside him. You know, as much as he threatened us, I think it was all ruse, said Kiba, choking back tears. I too believe that, it was as he said to Iruka the night he stole the scroll. A mask, said Hinata. No, Hinata, you're wrong. The happy Naruto you saw was the mask. The Naruto we knew now was the true Naruto. I guess after what he went through as a kid he finally snapped, said Kakashi. What do you mean? Asked Hinata. Contrary to what you might know or think you know about Naruto, he never had a happy childhood. His idea of a good day was finding a piece of good bread out of a garbage can and not having the villagers beat him nearly to death, said Kakashi. So that's why he acted the way he did, said Kiba. That is my theory, said Kakashi. Hinata started to cry upon hearing this. No, you're wrong, sensei, said Hinata. Oh, how so? Asked Kakashi. That day we took our bell test, I upset Naruto and he channeled some of that red chakra of his into my arm. When he was done, I had a memory that was not my own flash through my mind. Naruto went mad because he had to watch his only friend at the time in front of him. Ever since then is my guess as to when he started to like king people, because maybe in some way it eased his pain, said Hinata. That's horrible, said Kiba. That was Naruto's life, Kiba. It was always like that, and that is what made him the Naruto we knew today, said Kakashi. Gosh, I wish we'd met him before he went mad, said Kiba. Yes, that would have been nice, said Hinata, trying to imagine what Naruto would have been like had he never seen his friend before him. As they sat there, the sun began to set before them. Come along now, Tazuna says he's going to start work on the bridge tomorrow and we'll need a good night's rest, said Kakashi, leading his team back to the house. Hinata awoke the next morning to have the sun's rays caress her pretty face. Her pupilless eyes stared at the ceiling for several minutes. Tears ran hot down her face as she kept seeing Naruto on the ceiling. She remembered when they had first entered the academy. Flashback. This must have been before his friend's death, because Naruto had a huge grin on his face as he and Hinata entered the academy together. Naruto was excited and Hinata was nervous as always. Naruto turned to her. Hey, don't sweat it, Hinata, you'll do fine, he said loud enough for everyone to hear him. Hinata merely nodded as they walked into the classroom to meet their teacher, Iruka-sensei. End flashback. Hinata's face was now glazed over with drying tears. Her hair was soaked. She didn't care. She just wanted to see Naruto smile. But now that was impossible. His face would never crack a smile again. All she had was that one memory. After laying on her bed for a few more minutes, she got up and dressed, then walked downstairs to see that Kiba and Kakashi-sensei were up and ready to go. They made their way to the bridge that Tazuna was in charge of building in order to be able to trade with the mainland rather than buy what they needed at higher prices. Team Kakashi stared vigilantly around the area for any sign of an enemy attack. Kakashi-sensei, if Zabuza is why do we still have to hang around? Asked Kiba. Because Zabuza isn't if you recall, that hunter ninja that attacked him hit him with senbon needles. They're used mainly for stunning prepossess. Also, if that ninja was hunter ninja, he would have burned the body on sight, not taken it away, said Kakashi. Hinata and Kiba had stunned looks on their faces that were soon replaced with worry as a thick fog bank rolled in. Kakashi took a fighting stance and lifted his headband, revealing his Sharingan eye. Kiba, Find Tazuna and stay with him. Hinata, be on your guard as well, said Kakashi. Tsunami and Inari had just left the house to deliver Tazuna his lunch when they were stopped by a band of men. One was carrying a large club on his back, the other had a katana sheathed at his side. What do you want? Asked Tsunami forcibly. You and the brat S, said the one carrying the club. He was wearing a pair of pants with a pair of heavy boots. He was a black man with a bald shaven head. The other was wearing a set of purple robes. He was past white, his hair was dusty gray. Tsunami tried her best to shield her son from the men. Please just take me, leave Inari out of this, said Tsunami with tears in her eyes as she covered her son's body as best she could. Sorry Missy, but we have our orders, said the man dressed in the purple robes. A maniacal grin appeared on his face. As he drew his sword, the man beside him grabbed his club from off his back. They made their way to the two. The gap between them was now only inches. The one dressed in purple raised his sword to attack when he was blasted backwards by an invisible force. What was that? Asked the one carrying the club. He turned to his partner to see he'd been SD clean in half. He then looked down at his chest because he felt something wet running down it. He saw that it was his own blood. Then his head fell off his shoulders. Tsunami looked up to see a figure standing between her and the two S-men. You, she said with fear on her face. Kakashi was having a fierce battle with Zabuza. His Sharingan was rendered useless because of the thick fog. What's the matter? Kakashi can't seem to predict my movements, asked Zabuza, appearing behind Kakashi then disappearing again. Kiba and Hinata were stuck with the hunter ninja that had attacked Zabuza before, only to discover he was helping him. What do we do, Kiba? Asked Hinata. You stay with Tazuna and I'll do what I can against him, said Kiba. He then crouched to the ground. Akamaru then jumped on his back and changed into an exact copy of Kiba. Then they both started to spin at very high speeds towards the hunter ninja, who created two mirrors of ice. Both Kiba and Akamaru were sent flying backwards as they bounced off of the mirrors. Hinata, who had her Byakugan activated, could see that the mirrors were infused with high levels of chakra, much like the fog that surrounded them. She watched as Kiba and Akamaru were knocked out cold upon hitting the ground. Oh no, Kiba, what should I do? I'm no match for this guy, thought Hinata. The hunter ninja drew closer to her, his senbons poised to strike. At a moment's notice, Hinata pulled out a kunai from her pouch to defend herself and Tazuna. As best she could, once the hunter ninja was about 5 feet away, he threw the senbon needles with sly accuracy. Hinata braced herself for the attack that never came. She looked to see someone standing in front of her, blocking the barrage of needles. It's. Kakashi was breathing heavily. The battle was taking a toll on his body. Hey Kakashi, where's the blonde brat? I wouldn't have minded going another round with him, said Zabuza somewhere in the fog. He's not here, said Kakashi. The memory of having lost another teammate hit him hard. Oh, so the spider got him, did it? Asked Zabuza. You mean? Yes, I had Haku put the spider on your friend's back just before he knocked me unconscious, said Zabuza. Kakashi's mind went completely blank. Then it was filled with an emotion that he rarely had: rage. Zabuza, I'm going to KU, said Kakashi. He started to do a set of hand signs. Wind style, vortex vacuum jutsu, shouted Kakashi. As a small vortex appeared in the area. You missed, Kakashi, said Zabuza as the fog became a little less dense. Kakashi did another set of signs, then grabbed a scroll from within one of his pouches, SD his finger on a kunai, then streaked the blood across it. Summoning jutsu, shouted Kakashi. He was surrounded by a puff of smoke, then a small army of ninja hounds appeared before him. Ha, ha, you fool, not even the nose of a ninja hound can track me, said Zabuza, who had come into view. What? He shouted, looking around. That first jutsu I used wasn't meant to hit you, Zabuza. I would have been surprised if it had. No, that just was used to suck up this mist, said Kakashi. He then ordered his dogs to attack Zabuza. They then disappeared, then reappeared, biting down on every limb he had. So what are you going to do now, Kakashi? Asked Zabuza as plainly as if he were chatting about the weather. I already told you, Zabuza, I'm going to KU, but not with a copied jutsu. You're going to see one of my own original jutsu, said Kakashi. Doing a set of hand signs, then he braced his right wrist with his left hand as an electrical chakra appeared in the palm of his hand. What is that? The power from the chakra is so strong that it's actually visible, said Zabuza, trying to fight the dogs that were clamping him in place. This is my own technique, lightning blade, shouted Kakashi as he ran towards Zabuza, then hit him square in the heart. That was weird, thought Kakashi. His normal eye widened as the man that he'd run his most powerful attack through turned into a puddle of water. A water clone, but how was I not able to see it? Said Kakashi as a demonic laughter was heard echoing through the area. Didn't figure it out yet, Kakashi. This mist effectively eliminates the Sharingan's ability to tell the difference between the real deal and clones, said Zabuza. No, thought Kakashi as he felt a sword go his back. He tuck and rolled to avoid any more attacks. What's the matter, Kakashi? Getting tired? Asked Zabuza. Kakashi was breathing heavily. His chakra was nearly spent. He had to pull down his headband to cover his left eye so not to drain it all. Hinata stared in awe at her savior. His hair was bright blonde. He was wearing a black t-shirt with a pair of black pants and sandals. He turned to Hinata. His face had 3 whisker marks on each cheek. His blue eyes looked at her with concern. You all right? He asked. She merely nodded, unable to speak. Naruto then turned his attention to Kiba, who was out cold. He walked over to him. All right, dog, breath on your feet, he said as a red glow emanated from his hand, healing Kiba's wounds. Kiba opened his eyes to see. Naruto, am I? He asked. No, Kiba, you're just fine, my friend, said Naruto with a genuine smile on his face. Naruto, did you just smile and call me your friend? Asked Kiba in amazement. I wasn't truly. I was, however, in a comatose-like state. I could hear everything that was going on around me, but I couldn't do anything about it. You 3 are the first people to ever truly accept me for who I am, not for what I am, said Naruto. He then turned to Haku. And just who the hell are you? A cross-dresser? Asked Naruto, causing Hinata and Kiba to snicker. I am Haku, a tool of Zabuza of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, said Haku. Naruto Uzumaki, genin ninja of Konoha and container of the. No one heard the last part as an explosion of blue lightning shot through the air. Kakashi-sensei, said Kiba, starting to take off. Kiba, what are your orders? Asked Naruto. To protect the bridge builder, said Kiba. Follow your orders, said Naruto sternly. He then turned his attention back to Haku. What is this kid? His chakra level is higher than even Zabuza's, thought Haku. Suddenly another grin appeared on his face. It was the grin that Kiba and Hinata feared the most. Come then, Haku, let's see what you've got, said Naruto, getting into a fighting stance. Haku started to do a set of hand signs. Kiba, Hinata, make sure Tazuna doesn't get caught in the crossfire, said Naruto. Ice style, ice prison jutsu, shouted Haku. Sorry, I couldn't remember its real name, so I made one up. Naruto suddenly found himself inside a dome of ice mirrors, and Haku was inside each of these mirrors literally. Ice, how well, try this on for size, said Naruto, doing a set of hand signs. Fire style, Inferno Jutsu, shouted Naruto as he pointed his palm to one of the ice mirrors. Steam issued from the mirror. Once Naruto ended his jutsu, the ice hadn't even been damaged. Incredible unmeltable ice, thought Naruto. I assume this is your Keki Genkia, said Naruto. Haku nodded from within the mirrors, then threw a shower of senbon needles at Naruto. Each one hit him without fail as Naruto was unable to dodge. His blood ran on his body like a second skin. Okay, now I'm impressed, said Naruto, doing another set of hand signs. Shadow Clone Jutsu, he shouted as the area was filled with 10 Narutos. Shadow clones? I'd have never guessed that a boy your age would be able to perform such a jutsu, said Haku as another wave of senbon destroyed all of the clones, leaving only the original Naruto. Hinata, stay put, said Kiba as Hinata was making to run into the ice dome to help Naruto. But Kiba, we've just got him back. I don't want to lose him again, said Hinata. Hinata, no, if Naruto wanted our help he'd have told us to come with him, said Kiba. Kiba, he's not the same as he was before, said Hinata. What do you mean? Asked Kiba. He's lost his cur intent, said Hinata. And that's a bad thing? Asked Kiba. Yes, didn't you notice that Naruto usually just jumped at the guy with that red chakra of his, said Hinata. Maybe he's just stalling to find out what the enemy's weakness is, said Kiba. Hinata couldn't take it anymore. She rushed into the ice dome before Kiba could stop her. Naruto was smirking as he once again got to his feet. The needles that had been thrown thus far were drilled deep into his body. What is this, boy? Thought Haku. They both turned their attention to the sound of footsteps as a girl appeared through the ice. Hinata, run! Shouted Naruto. Only to find it was too late. She was hit with a barrage of needles that would have put even him to the ground. Naruto raced over to her. Hinata, why didn't you stay with Tazuna? Because I wanted to be useful to you, you seem to have changed. I thought you might still be weakened, said Hinata as blood ran down from her lips. Naruto wiped the blood away with his thumb. Tears fell from his face as he stared at her. You just lay here and rest. I'll be right back, said Naruto. His face was stern as the tears fell unchecked from his eyes. He then turned to Haku. The air around him began to shimmer, then steam rose from the ground as a red energy emanated from him. His eyes were blood red with vertical SS for pupils. A red fox, one-tailed fox shroud covered his body. His whisker marks were more defined. His fingernails stretched into claws. His canine teeth grew to fangs. You hurt one of my precious people, said Naruto, looking down at the ground, hiding his eyes. Then a wave of energy burst through him as a second tail formed on the shroud. His claws became longer. His whisker makers became even more defined. His canine teeth grew to the point they were just poking out of his closed lips. A black outline appeared round Naruto's eyes as the chakra emanating from him swirled around him. Then the image of the nine-tailed fox's head appeared from the chakra. I'm gonna K you, said Kyuubi Naruto. Last time. You just rest, Hinata, said Naruto. He then turned to Haku. Steam began to rise from the ground around him, as a red chakra enveloped him, taking on the form of a one-tailed fox. You hurt someone precious to me, said Naruto as the whisker marks on his face became more defined. His eyes changed from blue to blood red with vertical SS for pupils. The claws on his hands lengthened. His canines grew slightly past his closed lips. His eyes had black outlines around them. A second tail formed onto the fox shroud. I'm gonna K you, said Kyuubi Naruto. Haku stared at the boy from within his mirrors. Everything looked like it was in slow motion, even the boy's terrifying transformation. What are you? Said Haku. Your worst nightmare, come to life, said Kyuubi Naruto. Haku appeared within every mirror surrounding him. Then they all threw a shower of senbon needles at Naruto, each one piercing his F. Naruto smirked. Then he unleashed a wave of the red chakra, causing the senbon needles to jet from his skin. Then steam issued from his wounds as they closed shut. Then Naruto disappeared and reappeared in front of one of the mirrored Hakus and punched through the ice, shattering it. Naruto then flung his chakra fox claw around like a lasso, causing more of the ice to shatter, causing the real Haku to fall out of one of the mirrors. Naruto's chakra claw grabbed him, then drew him to Naruto, who then punched him when he was close enough, causing him to fly several yards away. The rest of the ice mirrors shattered instantly as Haku's concentration was broken. Naruto then walked slowly to the boy, who threw a handful of senbon needles in a last-ditch effort to stop Naruto, only to watch them bounce off of the chakra that surrounded his body. Naruto then did a set of hand signs. Fire wind style, flaming vortex jutsu, shouted Kyuubi Naruto. The air around them became blistering hot as a small vortex appeared. Then it grew larger until it was the size of an F5 tornado. Suddenly it burst into flames, sucking Haku within it. Haku did a set of hand signs as he entered the vortex. Once the jutsu SD down, Haku was badly burned and singed, but still alive. Naruto walked towards him. His fox tail swished happily at the thought of AK. Time to S, said Kyuubi Naruto. He did one last set of hand signs. Fire style, flaming fist jutsu, he said darkly. His right hand was instantly covered in white hot flames. He then punched Haku in the chest. His hand went completely through it. Then he withdrew the flaming limb and punched Haku in the face, causing his mask to shatter and his head to fly off his shoulders into the water below the bridge. Naruto then turned to Hinata. His rage subsided as the shroud faded away, leaving Naruto looking normal again. He ran to Hinata. She was still conscious, but barely. Naruto checked her pulse. It was fading fast. Naruto, said Hinata. What? Asked Naruto, doing a set of hand signs. Then his hands glowed red with the Kyuubi's chakra. He then lowered his hands to her. I'm SSS sorry IIIF failed you, said Hinata. Don't worry Hinata, you didn't fail me, said Naruto as he pumped more of the Kyuubi's chakra through his hands to heal her more serious wounds. The senbon needles that were buried deep within her skin started to pop out as the wounds issued a light steam, then closed shut. Naruto, I want to tell you something I've wanted to tell you since we were in the academy, said Hinata. Naruto looked at her with a faint hint of curiosity. Don't worry Hinata, you can tell me later. Right now you just need to rest, said Naruto, touching her forehead with his finger. It had a small amount of chakra within it. Once it touched her head, she was out like a light. Naruto watched as the last needle popped out of her body, then the wound closed. He then picked her up and brought her over to Kiba, who was grasping a shivering Akamaru. Naruto, what was that back there? Said Kiba. That is what happens when I protect someone precious to me, said Naruto, pulling off his shirt, then rolled it up for Hinata to use as a pillow. He then looked at Kiba. She's alright, she just needs to rest, said Naruto, answering the worried look on Kiba's face. Count yourself lucky I consider you a friend now, said Naruto before taking off towards Kakashi and Zabuza's fighting grounds. Kakashi had a kunai raised blocking Zabuza's Zanpakuto but was losing his strength fast when suddenly a red light burst through the fog, distracting Zabuza enough to give him the opportunity to escape. What's that? Is this you're doing, Kakashi? Asked Zabuza. No, said Kakashi. That chakra, it can't be his thought Kakashi. Well, whatever it is, Haku will make quick work of it, said Zabuza, turning his attention back to Kakashi. Kakashi waited for Zabuza to get on top of him. Now, shouted Kakashi as his ninja dogs shot out of the ground, each one biting down hard on Zabuza, causing blood to flow from his limbs and his en. What but how you should be out of chakra, said Zabuza. You're quite right, I am out of chakra, but my ninja hounds never left the battlefield, said Kakashi, drawing his kunai, then thrust it into Zabuza's chest, killing him. And now our fight is finished, said Kakashi. Zabuza fell to the ground in a puddle of his own blood. Once the fog around them began to lift, Kakashi then saw someone he thought he would never see again. Naruto, said Kakashi as he collapsed to the ground. Naruto ran to his injured sensei and used the same healing technique he used on Hinata and Kiba. Kakashi's wounds hissed as they closed shut. Soon he was fit enough to stand again, but very weakened. Naruto, how? I wasn't really sensei. The poison would have killed me if I didn't have the QB within me. He caused my body to shut itself down, then he burned all of the blood within me, destroying the poison. Then he recreated new blood for my body with his chakra, said Naruto. That must have been extremely painful, said Kakashi as he limped back to the bridge builder. It was at first, then he put me into a comatose-like state. I didn't feel a thing until I awoke inside a freezer, said Naruto. Sorry about that, I thought you were and I did what I had to do to keep your body preserved, said Kakashi, rubbing the back of his head. That's fine, sensei, said Naruto as they soon found Kiba, Hinata and Tazuna waiting for them. The fog that covered the area was nearly gone, allowing the bright sun to shine through in rays of filtered light. Hinata was awake, looked at Naruto. Her face was now beet red. Naruto looked at her with a confused look, then looked down at his bare chest. It was well toned, as were his abs. Then he looked back up at Hinata with the same look. Is there something wrong? He asked as she handed him his shirt. No, nothing's wrong, said Hinata. Kiba gave Kakashi a slight smirk. Naruto pulled his shirt back on, then looked at Hinata. Good, now then I need you two to watch over Kakashi-sensei and Tazuna for a minute, said Naruto. Why? Asked Kiba. Naruto merely pointed behind him. They turned to see a man dressed in a tuxedo with a white walking cane, followed by at least 50 hired thugs. Each one carried a weapon. Naruto smirked as he stepped towards them. Hey, look at this, guys, this little brat is actually going to fight us, said the man dressed in the tux. Gatu, I presume, said Naruto. The man nodded, then his head flew off his shoulders in an instant. Naruto then turned to the others before him. Unless you want to end up like him, I suggest you leave, said Naruto in a monotone voice. The men laughed, then ran at him. His smirk grew wider. I was hoping you'd do that, he said as he disappeared, then reappeared before the men. He drew a kunai from his pouch, then started running at them, slicing them in the trip, the chest, the back, anywhere he could stick the kunai. The men's blood flowed out of their boss like rain. Naruto loved every second of it. He was truly happy now as he killed 2 more men by cleanly cutting off their heads. He's a monster, said one of the men, trying to flee only to find a kunai shoot through his head. Please let me live, have mercy, said another. Sorry, all out of mercy, said Naruto as he this man's head in half. His brains fell out of each half onto the concrete. The others watched in horror as Naruto killed these men without any remorse, and each was glad that he was on their side. Once the king spree was finished, Naruto returned to the group. Blood sped from his limbs like thick syrup. What? He asked as he looked at their stunned faces. Naruto, could you please take a dip in the river? Asked Kiba. Naruto smirked. Just be glad it's not your blood yet, he said in the dark manner he used to talk to them with. This caused Kiba to flinch. Naruto smirked. I already told you, Kiba, I'm not ever going to harm you unless you harm me, Hinata, or Kakashi, said Naruto. He then turned to the edge of the bridge that jumped before anyone could stop him. There was a loud splash. There you guys happy I've washed all the blood off, yelled Naruto from below. Naruto you idiot you could have SD. Yelled Kiba. Not a chance this water is ocean water very deep Kiba, said Naruto he then acted like he was pulling himself out of the water then he was walking on the water this caused everyone's eyes to widen to the size of dinner plates. Hey Kakashi-sensei what was that special training you were going to have us do? Asked Naruto. Tree climbing with no hands, said Kakashi. Naruto pressed chakra down to his feet that in turn forced him to be pushed into the air. He then hit the side of the bridge and began to walk up the side of the bridge like he was walking on flat ground. Like this? He asked. Kakashi could only nod his agreement. Well I never knew this was an exercise I thought it was a means of escape, said Naruto now standing upright in front of them. You mean you've done this before? Asked Kiba. Yeah I needed some way to get away from the angry villagers when they cornered me in AS End Ally and this was the answer the water walking I did just for kicks, said Naruto. Amazing is there anything else this kid picked up while on the streets? Thought Kakashi. Well team our mission is complete, said Kakashi. Kiba and Akamaru whooped and howled in celebration. Hinata nodded. Naruto on the other hand had an evil grin on his face then he did a set of hand signs. Wind style, ice blizzard jutsu, he shouted then blew a freezing wind at Kakashi causing him to turn into a block of ice. Naruto what are you doing? Yelled Kiba. I told him when the mission was over I would kill him and I have, said Naruto. Kakashi left out an inaudible groan from within the ice. You see he isn't breathing and he's not moving both are good indications that he's said Naruto walking away leaving Kakashi to thaw. Come on you guys Tsunami said she was going to make us a giant pot of rice with pork and sauce, said Naruto to Tazuna, Kiba, and Hinata. But Naruto what about Kakashi-sensei, said Hinata nervously. Don't worry he'll thaw when we're back at the house, it's payback for putting me in the freezer, said Naruto with a mischievous grin. Kiba who was walking behind them laughed his head off. See ya later sensei, we'll save you a piece of pork, said Naruto to the block of ice. Kakashi could do nothing except watch his team leave without him. His stomach left out a loud growl that caused the ice to shake. It was 3 days after the bridge was completed that Team 8 decided it was time to head back. Thank you all so much for your help, said Tsunami. Yeah thanks for saving my granddad, said Inari. You're welcome, they all said and headed back to their home. They traveled the road that lead to Konoha at a much faster pace than they did when they had the bridge builder. And before long they soon had the village gates staring them in the face. Naruto's grin faded back into his glare as they entered the village. They walked quietly through the village. Everyone glared at Naruto like he was a diseased rat that needed to be exterminated. I'm going to make my report to the Hokage. Why don't you three enjoy yourselves, said Kakashi who then turned to Naruto. And Naruto please don't kill anybody, said Kakashi. Only if they don't try and kill me first sensei, said Naruto in a serious tone that none of them had heard in a long time. He looked around the village to see that everyone was giving him the usual glares that before for the mission would have marked the deaths. Then Naruto left out a smirk as he drew 2 kunai from his pouch. Everyone who saw this except for Kiba and Hinata took off. NN Naruto DDD did why you have TT to DDD do that? Asked Hinata. Unless you wanted me to kill them that I wouldn't have minded at all, said Naruto replacing his kunai. Well I don't know about you two but I'm hungry. Where should we stop to eat? Asked Kiba. You two can eat whatever you want. I'm going somewhere that I haven't been to in a long time, said Naruto walking away. Oh yeah and just where would that be? Asked Kiba. Naruto turned to him with a huge grin on his face. Ichiraku ramen of course, he said. Kiba leaned into Hinata. I think I like him better before he started liking us. This caused Hinata to giggle as they followed their teammate to Ichiraku unaware that they were being followed. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.